Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, June 5th. Very cool morning once again in the Mid-Atlantic region. Many suburban locations along the I-95 corridor reached down into the upper 40s for late night lows. It looks like another week, yet another week in the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S. without any heat and humidity. That's really been the amazing story of the past couple of months. Very dry conditions overall, and no high humidity weather conditions at all to speak of over the last couple of months. And now we're into the month of June. Again, it looks like for at least another week we can live without any kind of heat or humidity in the Mid-Atlantic region with very comfortable conditions and generally dry. There will be a frontal system that will push through the Mid-Atlantic region late tomorrow night. Could set off some scattered showers and thunderstorms, but for the most part, it looks like comfortable, generally dry conditions. We had a tropical system over the past weekend named Arlene in the Gulf of Mexico. That has dissipated. We are now officially into the hurricane season, which officially begins on June 1st as designated by NOAA's National Hurricane Center. Doesn't look too threatening this week, or really perhaps for the next couple of weeks. Let's take a look at the latest sea surface temperature anomaly pattern. We've been talking about the development, the intensification of El Nino. And you hear these redder conditions here shown along the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean represent areas of above sea surface temperatures. We're looking here off the west coast of South America. This El Nino really got its beginning just off the west coast. It is now kind of spreading out to the west, right along the equator. This horizontal line right here represents 0 degrees latitude. And this is your El Nino, which definitely looks like it'll be a main factor through the summer tropical season into the fall and perhaps even into the upcoming winter season as well. It's not the only thing we're looking at here in terms of the potential for tropical activity. Notice here off the west coast of Africa, above normal sea surface temperatures that tend to spread all the way into the Caribbean Sea right here. And this in the Atlantic Basin is a favorable sign right here for tropical activity, whereas El Nino tends to be a unfavorable sign for tropical activity. So they'll kind of be contradictory signs here for the tropical season, and the end result may be something in the near normal range here. Again, we had tropical storm Arlene over the Gulf of Mexico. That has dissipated, and it doesn't appear too threatening for any more activity over the next several days, maybe even the next week or two. But that's the very latest in the sea surface temperature anomaly pattern around the world. Well, let's get back to the continental U.S. This is the forecast map from last night's operational run of the GFS for the total precipitation over the next 5 days. And the area that kind of jumps out of me is right here. A lack of rain, basically, for the most part, over the next 5 days or so. And we'll see in a moment, there's kind of a closed upper-level low spinning around in the southeastern part of Canada, the northeastern part of the U.S., and overall, it's bringing another comfortable week, a relatively dry week. There will be, again, a frontal system that could cause some scattered showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow night. But for the most part, another 5 days or so of relatively rain-free conditions. Certainly Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday look rain-free. For example, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City after a rain-free start to the week on Monday. Again, could be some scattered showers and thunderstorms Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. Maybe a system to watch over the southeastern states, or more likely over the southwestern part of the Atlantic over the next several days. But it looks like it doesn't have much of a chance of developing into anything too significant. Still, some rain's falling out in California even as we now progress into the month of June. Well, let's take a look at the ensemble run of the GFS from last night at 0-0. What we're looking at are the temperature anomaly patterns here over rolling 5-day periods. This is at the 850 millibar level. This is the current 5-day period we're in, and again, below normal temperatures throughout much of the mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S., and along with that, relatively dry conditions as well. The real hot weather's up across Canada, central and southwestern Canada, and all the way into the Pacific Northwest. Now, let's move forward here, and we'll see the influence of that closed upper level low really has an impact on temperatures, keeping them cooler than normal throughout much of the northeastern quadrant of the nation throughout much of this week. This is now the period of days 5 to 9, which represents June 9th to June 14th. Still, much the same with cooler than normal conditions across the mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S., maybe even across southwestern U.S., and warmer than normal up across western Canada. We'll go a little bit farther in time, and one of the things I want to note here is that by the time we get to, let's say, the middle of the month, is certainly the second week of June and probably the third week of June as well. Notice it starts to really heat up down across Texas and maybe the south central U.S. Excuse me. At the same time, cooler than normal conditions continue across the Rocky Mountain states. What this tells me is that it may start to set up another kind of a battle zone region right in this part of the country, perhaps with the return of some tornadic activity, let's say by the middle part of the month of June, maybe going into the latter part of the month of June. That follows a relatively quiet period in terms of tornadic activity, but you start to see above normal conditions temperature-wise showing up over Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. At the same time, cooler than normal conditions appear over the Rocky Mountain states. Watch out, this could become another clash zone or a battle zone region. Again, this is for the middle of the month, June 12th to June 17th. Well, now let's take a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly patterns, again using the ensemble relative GFS from 0Z, rolling 5-day periods. This is the current 5-day period, and that upper level low situated over Nova Scotia will keep DC, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston without any kind of heat and humidity. And that's saying something now that we're into the month of June. Basically, comfortable conditions starting off the day, the upper 40s, many suburban locations along the I-95 corridor region. Hot weather relative to normal up across central Canada, into southwestern Canada, and even into the Pacific Northwest. Now, let's move forward in time. And again, that closed upper level low has an impact throughout much of this week. And then we'll start to look by the middle part of June. Here we are all the way out now, days 10 to 14. And again, notice here, a ridging starts to pop up across Texas, Louisiana. At the same time, temperatures will pop up into above normal levels here. At the same time, still cooler than normal conditions. A closed upper level, not a closed, but a weak upper level low over the Rocky Mountain states. And again, watch out in this time frame. You could start to set up a battle zone region by the time we get to the middle part of June in, excuse me, this particular part of the country. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from last night's 0Z GFS model. This is the operational version, not the ensemble run. And again, close upper level low, kind of spinning around over Nova Scotia as we begin the work week. We'll go into later today, into tonight, and by the time we get into Tuesday, there is a cold frontal system right in this region right here. It's relatively dry, but it certainly can produce some scattered showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow night. When you're kind of in a dry period and a drought type of atmosphere, as we have in the Mid-Atlantic region, it's hard to get showers and thunderstorms to develop with the soil moisture conditions on the dry side here. And again, it'll be kind of a struggle tomorrow, maybe 30-40% chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow night in that mid-Atlantic region. Now, let's move forward in time and we'll go into the latter part of the week. And notice upper level flow still out of the northeast here in the mid-Atlantic region. This is all the way into the middle of the week. And then we'll go into the late week and kind of much the same with high pressure. Canadian high pressure drops into the upper part of the Midwest by the time we get to the end of the work week, Friday. Continuation of relatively comfortable and dry conditions throughout much of the northeastern part of the nation. That includes the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic region, and the Northeast U.S. I don't expect any kind of severe weather outbreak this week in the central part of the nation. But by the time we get to, let's say, the 12th, 13th, or 14th of the month of during the month of June, the middle part of the month of June, and maybe beyond that, could become more active again, even with the possibility of tornadoes returning to that clash zone region that will pop up maybe just to the northwest of Texas, Louisiana, and the south and east of the Rocky Mountain State. So it's something we'll monitor over the next couple of weeks. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.